It is Wednesday, January 10th, and the Splash Zone is back in your life. I am Matt Modi, and I'm here to give you my 4 favorite NBA player props for tonight's NBA betting slate. I call it the Splash Zone because we're just trying to figure out who in the NBA is going to splash around and get us wet, and who's not. Before I can give you tonight's picks, I got to do a recap from yesterday, which was completely fine. I gave out another 4 picks. We got 2 of those 4 to cash, but thanks to the plus money banger odds, we end the day with a profit, albeit a slight profit of 0.35 units. We cashed Ivy over 24.5 points, rebounds, assists, and Emmanuel Quickly 20 plus points. And then we lost Derek Jones Jr. over 1.5 made 3-pointers and De'Aaron Fox 30 plus points. On the entire year, we are still having an incredible, successful season. We are up 26.6 units with an ROI of 18.14%. It's been amazing. So if you're new to my channel, I would definitely recommend subscribing so you can cash these bangers with us moving forward. And if you're not new to my channel, I appreciate you for tuning in. Make sure to like the video, comment, and then of course, as I mentioned, subscribe. And let's get into today's picks. Let's get wet. So the first play that we're going to go ahead and talk about here is in the Thunder versus Heat game. We're taking Jaime Jaquez Jr. over 19.5 points plus assists. This is at plus 110 odds at DraftKings. First of all, what a steal this guy was in the draft for the Heat. He has been absolutely incredible for them. But in this game specifically, I like targeting him because the Heat are going to be missing Jimmy Butler confirmed. He's confirmed out. And they're most likely going to be missing Kyle Lowry and Caleb Martin as well. Now, the two most important people missing is Jimmy Butler and Caleb Martin, with Butler obviously being the most important. But with those guys out, that just means higher usage rate for Jaime Jaquez Jr. Both Jimmy Butler and Caleb Martin have a higher usage rate than the real Triple J, JJJ, Jaime Jaquez Jr. So yes, that means higher usage rate with those guys being out. On the entire year, Jimmy Butler has missed 12 games, and Jaime Jaquez Jr. has gone over this number in 7 of those 12 games. And what really helps is with Jimmy Butler versus on versus off the court, his assist rate goes up 5%. Jaquez Jr.'s assist rate is 10% with Butler on the court, goes up to 15% with Butler off the court. Now, I will admit it's been a colder stretch for Jaquez recently. He's missed this in 3 of his last 4, but I like for him to bounce back tonight. The Thunder, yes, do have a good defense, but look at the 5 teams overall that Jaquez Jr. has gone under against. The Timberwolves, best defense in the NBA. The Magic and Rockets, 2 very, very good defenses, top 5 each. The Clippers, who, yes, their defensive rating is, I think, 11th, but recently they've been on a hot streak and their defense has been phenomenal. And then the Suns, whose defensive rating is roughly middle of the pack, but they're one of the best matchups, or they're one of the best defenses, I should say, specifically against small forwards. So yes, the Thunder defense is very good, but I like for Jaquez Jr. to bounce back tonight, have a good game, hopefully cashing our first play. Next up, in the Raptors versus Clippers game, I'm taking James Harden, 10 plus assists, plus 115 odds at ESPN Bet. Now, I've gone with Harden a couple times now, like 3, 4, maybe even, this might be even our 5th time. He's come through for us majority of the time. So I'm going to keep riding his assist prop as long as we're getting good value, which we absolutely are here on ESPN Bet at plus 115 odds. It's a very good price that we're getting. And the stats for Harden are night and day when you look at the beginning of the year versus when you look at his stats more recently. He only hit 10 or more assists in 3 of the first 18 games of the season. Since then, he's done it in 8 of 13, including 5 of his last 6. And what I like is that Harden has done it both in good matchups like the Grizzlies, who are a good matchup for his assist props. And he's also done it in tough matchups as well. So I like the fact that he's not just doing it against good matchups. This is a number that Harden has hit in 7 of his last 9 games in which Kawhi has played. Kawhi missed about a week or so, but with Kawhi in the lineup, Harden assists goes up a pretty decent amount. Now, there's always a concern about Clippers guys missing games, but as of right now, none of them have an injury designation, so we should be good to go there. Now, looking at the matchup, the Raptors defense is decent overall. Granted, they did take a hit when they traded away OG Anunoby. Yes, they got much better offensively, but they did take a hit defensively, and they really seem to struggle on the second half of back-to-backs. Now, I don't want to put too much focus and emphasis into that because it's kind of just noise in stats, but the Raptors haven't won a single game on the second half of back-to-back, and their defensive rating has plummeted. So even if it wasn't a back-to-back, I would like Harden assist. That's just kind of a point in our favor, maybe. But regardless, hopefully Harden can continue his hot streak, come through for us with 10 or more assists. That's our second play. Next up, third pick of the slate. In the Rockets versus Bulls game, I'm taking Alperen Şengün over 4.5 assists. This is at plus 115 odds at BetSafe. Smaller sports book, so if you don't use them, you can also get it at plus 105 at Flip, which is legal literally everywhere. Now, this is going to be a play where we are absolutely fading recent results. If you're new to my channel, one thing that I do like to do is fade recent results. Generally, sports are weird, and just because things are happening recently doesn't mean that they're going to continue to happen. So generally, I think you can find some value by fading recent results, which again is exactly what we are doing here. In his last 4 games, Şengün has had 4, 1, 4, and 2 assists. So yeah, it's not been good. He's gone under in all 4. But if you look at the entire year, he's been very good from an assist perspective, including this recent cold streak. He has hit 5 or more assists in 20 of 35 games, which means heading into this cold streak, he had hit 5 or more assists in 20 of 31. On the entire year, he's averaging 5 assists per game and about 8.2 potential assists per game. But if you isolate the data starting January 3rd, which is when this cold streak started, the first game in which he went under in this 4-game cold streak was January 3rd. He's only averaging 2.8 assists per game. That number's not good. But his potential assists are actually higher, which is crazy, all the way up at 9.8 potential assists per game since January 3rd. So just because the fact that he's gone under in 4 straight games, what that tells me is he's actually been getting unlucky in terms of teammates hitting shots, and he should have more assists. That also tells me that nothing dramatic has changed in terms of his role on offense and how they're playing offense and his passing in general. So I think that the assists are going to come, that we can find that we are getting some value here. Hopefully that starts tonight in what is a pretty good matchup against the Bulls. According to props.cash, the Bulls are listed as the best matchup in the entire NBA when you're looking at center assist props specifically. Recently, Joel Embiid had 10 plus assists against them on an over-under of 4.5. Before that, Jared Allen had 7 assists on an over-under of 2.5. So I like for Şengün to have a good game tonight. Hopefully he comes through for us for our third play. Next up, fourth and final pick of the evening, Michael Porter Jr., 4+ made 3-pointers, plus 200 odds at FanDuel. Last play of the evening is also our juiciest play in terms of odds. I love saving the best for last. Now, this is a play because of how MPJ, his role on the Nuggets offense, how he plays, along with the Jazz being one of the worst defenses in the NBA guarding the 3-point line. Again, this is according to props.cash. They list the Jazz as the second easiest matchup in the NBA for 3-point props for power forwards and for shooting guards. So the second easiest in those 2 positions, and the 4th easiest matchup against small forwards, which is Michael Porter Jr.'s position. That's 3/5 of the positions on an NBA court in which the Jazz are a very plus matchup for 3-point props. And as for Michael Porter Jr., his role on the Nuggets, he's there to space the floor and to catch and shoot, and he's very good at doing that. He leads the Nuggets in catch and shoot opportunities per game with over 7. He's shooting over 40% on those opportunities as well. I will say the Jazz overall have been playing better recently, but they still struggle in terms of allowing 3-pointers. 4 of the last 5 small forwards against the Jazz have gone over their 3-point prop. That includes guys who are over-under is 0.1. That also includes guys like Jason Tatum, who hit 5 on an over-under of 2.5, or like Bojan Bogdanovic, who hit 8, an astonishing 8 on an over-under of 2.5. Michael Porter Jr. has hit 4 or more 3-pointers 13 times this year. He's done it in 2 of 4 and in 3 of 8. And he's done it in pretty easy matchups. 2 of the times that he cashed in the last 10 games were 2 games against the Hornets, who are another very bad defense that allow a ton of penetration, which means that a lot of kick-out opportunities for Michael Porter Jr. I will say he did miss it the first time these teams played this year, but I like for him to come through and cash it for us tonight. And that's all we got. 4 plays for you guys to lock in. If you are riding with me, make sure to comment and let me know. Other than that, like the video, subscribe, all that good stuff. Appreciate you guys for watching, and have a good one.